Part 5. Entering marks. Now that we have created an assignment, or a few, we are ready to discuss how to enter marks. There are several ways to enter marks and several places to enter them. A teacher will develop his or her preferred method. So take all of this information in, play around, and figure out what works best for you. When entering scores, make sure to use the type of score that you set up when you created the assignment. For example, use numbers for points and percentages or letters for letter grades. There are many different ways to enter a single score for a single student. First, click the scoring icon, Calculator, for an assignment in the Recent Assignments area of your dashboard. Click in the score cell for a specific student and enter a grade. If you've been working with a specific student and you're on the student detail page, add a score by clicking Edit Scores in the Recent Assignments area. And you can always navigate to either the assignment/activities or score sheet pages by selecting grading from the navigation menu. We will begin marking by working from an assignment here. You will choose the Vocabulary 1 assignment created earlier. Direct entry. However you choose to access the assignment, one of the most basic ways you can enter scores is through a method we call direct entry. From your assignment/activities list, hover over an assignment to click on the calculator to view/input grades directly. You see a list of kids in your class, alphabetized on the left-hand side of the page. Following this is column of blank cells. Direct entry means that you will click into the grade cell for a student and directly enter the mark. Click into one of your student's grade cells. Note that immediately a window expands on the right-hand side of the page. This is called the Score Inspector, and we will discuss this in greater detail shortly. For now, simply enter a mark in the cell you clicked into. Enter an appropriate mark, numbers for points or percentage grades, letters if your grade scale uses them. Like an Excel spreadsheet, you can use your arrows to move up or down through this column, entering marks as you go. Using the Score Inspector. While you can enter scores manually, use the Score Inspector to provide more details about the student's performance, such as when a student has a missing or late assignment. Also use the Score Inspector to enter a comment about a student's score. You already saw that the Score Inspector opens up the moment you click into a cell to mark a student's assignment. Let's now take a closer look at this inspector. The Score Inspector allows you to move through your students and/or assignments using arrows. Below this is a box where you can enter the grade. If you mark the grade cell using direct entry, this box will automatically show the mark you entered into the grade cell. Below this box, you will find links for various grading options. Numbers if you mark points or percentage, letters if you use a letter grade scale. If you are sitting at your computer entering marks, you will probably use the direct entry method and the keypad on your keyboard. But if you are on a tablet or phone, these grade link options become immensely helpful to you. Your district leaders may have associated a special code scale to the regular grade scale. If that is the case, you can click Codes in the Score Inspector and select a special code such as INC to score a student's assignment. Special codes allow you, the teacher, to utilize scoring options that have been approved by the district. For example, maybe there is a cheated code to designate that the student cheated on the assignment. Aside from merely showing CHE for cheated, the district can set up a rule in the system to specify that when this CHE code is used, it will count as a 0 on the assignment. Moving further down the Score Inspector, you find several square button options to further detail the student's performance on an assignment. There are options to mark the assignment late, missing, exempt, incomplete, or collected. You can also specify that the student was absent from class that day. Click around and see how each symbol displays in its own color. You can see the flag in the inspector, but also on the score sheet or in the assignment grade cell. These flags are viewable to parents and students, so they will have a clear picture of what is happening in class. These visual flags, while informative, have no impact on the final grade. They are just visual cues to provide information at a glance. Special codes, on the other hand, may trigger the use of a flag, but remember, Any value associated with that code comes from the code and not the flag. Beside these flags are a vertical and horizontal fill arrow option. This will be discussed shortly. Finally, at the bottom of the score inspector is a comment box. Pay attention to the character limit at the bottom of that box. Text entered into this box will be viewable to parents and students. This becomes a truly informative tool that allows you to communicate with parents and students about the student's performance on that particular assignment. For example, maybe you want to let the student and parent know that you appreciate all the student's extra efforts and it is really paying off. Or maybe you want to notify the parent that the reason the student underperformed on their open book quiz was because the student didn't bring his or her materials to class. Enter whatever is professionally appropriate and will help students and parents understand the student's performance. The comment inspector. At the top right-hand side of the score inspector, you will see a couple icons. One looks like a calculator and is the default mode of the score inspector. But there is a comment bubble icon beside this, and choosing the comment bubble icon switches the score inspector from a score mode to a comment mode. You can still move through students and assignments using the arrows, but now you have a larger comment box into which you may type a comment. But at the bottom of this box, you will also have access to a comment bank. A filter appears. You all know how to use a filter. Please feel free to do so. Below the filter, you see a table of comments. Each column header is sortable. There is a favorite column in which you can mark your favorites by clicking on the star. To add a comment to the comment field, simply choose the plus symbol on the right-hand side of the comment table. There is also a gear icon in your comment inspector. Selecting this gives you a few options, and we will look at the bottom of that list first. You can choose using radio buttons, whether to enter your comments using line breaks or spaces. The system will remember your preference. Note that at the top of the gear drop-down, you can choose which bank of comments to use. Your options include district-created comments, found in the district bank, or your own bank of comments, found by selecting My Comments. There is also a link that allows you to manage comments. You will be able to view and manage district comments by clicking into the District tab. You can create your own bank of comments by clicking Add on the My Comments page. Follow any and all district rules regarding comments and always check for spelling and grammar mistakes before saving that comment. Filling scores. Let's return to the score inspector. Choose the calculator options of your inspector to return to the default mode. Now let's talk about those fill score options. You can use the fill functions to either fill scores for one assignment for all of the students in a class, or to fill all assignment scores for one student. Scores will be filled in cells that do not already have scores. Additionally, you can use the fill score functions to fill comments for students. To fill student scores in one assignment, you will click into any blank cell. Enter any and all detail you wish to copy. For instance, maybe all the kids in your class earned the full 10 points an assignment was worth. You can click into one cell and enter the grade of 10. You might also want to choose the collected flag. You can even enter a comment such as "Great job" in the comment box. Now you want to fill all that information into the grade cells for each student in your class. With the cell with data selected, you will move to the score inspector and choose the vertical fill option. This will copy the information, the grade, the flag, and the comment in the selected cell to all the other blank grading cells. You can use the feature even if some of the students did not achieve the full 10 points for the assignment. To do this, you would first fill in the other outliers, the kids who got 9 or 8 or 5 points. Once the outliers were defined, you can choose a blank cell, enter the grade data, and fill it in to the other students. As it only copies the grade information to the blank cells, the students' marks entered already remain the same. While this fill score feature is helpful, there are some additional tricks that make it truly great. For example, let's imagine you wanted your comment on the assignments for all your students who achieved the full 10 points of the assignment to say, "Great job, Jane." Clearly, not every student in your class is named Jane, so some may assume that mass filling a comment that is personalized cannot be done. but give it a try. When you go into the assignment comment box for a student named Jane and you enter "Great job, Jane," and then you choose to fill vertically, the score inspector will show an option to copy the score, flag, and comments or comments only. You are then going to choose to fill in everything. As soon as you do so, a pop-up appears on top of the gradebook. Your gradebook recognizes that not all students in your class are named Jane, but it also recognizes that you use the first name of your student. The pop-up window asks you if, would you like to use the original text, thus the name of Jane, or would you like to use smart text, which allows the system to replace the name Jane with the first name of whichever student that grade cell is associated with. You would obviously choose to use smart text here. Now your assignment comments read "Great job, Jane," "Great job, Bob," and etc. There are additional smart text options. You can see the list of options when the pop-up window appears asking if you would like to use the original text or the smart text option in your filling of comments. Smart text appears as a link and if clicked will expand a menu of smart text selections. These options include but are not limited to first name, preferred name, him/her, he/she, his/her, capitalized or not, and etc. Editing and clearing scores. If you can fill scores in your gradebook, the next logical question is, can I clear scores? The answer is yes. Clearing scores will clear all scores, horizontally or vertically, so be careful. But if you realize you accidentally entered your marks into the wrong assignment, you can clear them en masse. To do so, you would simply click into the grade cell of a student and clear all data from the cell. Make sure you remove the grade, the flag, and any comment. With the blank cell now selected, simply choose to fill vertically or horizontally. This essentially copies the state of the blank cell to the other cells, clearing them all out. When you delete or edit a score, a small gear icon appears next to the value in the student's grade column because they are being edited. Once you save the changes, the student's grade will be recalculated using the new score.